You are cruising along Interstate 80 through the rolling hills of Pennsylvania, or maybe Interstate 90 slicing through the quiet farmlands of upstate New York on a crisp winter morning. The pavement ahead looks ordinary. Just a stretch of dark, glistening road after a light mist or overnight chill. Nothing that would raise an eyebrow. Your all-wheel drive sport utility vehicle hums confidently at 65 miles per hour. The heater blowing warm air against the cold seeping through the windows. And for a moment you feel in complete command of the machine carrying you and your family or friends toward whatever lies ahead. Then, without any warning at all, the steering wheel goes strangely light in your hands, almost as if the tires have suddenly lost their connection to the earth beneath them. You tap the brake pedal gently, expecting the familiar slowdown, but instead the whole vehicle begins a slow, nauseating rotation toward the concrete median. The world tilting in a way that sends your stomach into free fall and your pulse racing like a drum in your chest. This is the moment when the invisible killer reveals itself, black ice. That treacherous, transparent sheet of frozen moisture that disguises itself perfectly against the asphalt, turning a routine drive into a life or death test of reflexes and calm. In the seconds that follow, every instinct screams to fight the slide. But survival demands something far more disciplined and precise. The key is to act immediately, without hesitation, because those first few heartbeats decide whether you regain control or join the chain of vehicles that can pile up in a heartbeat on these high-speed corridors. If you feel that terrifying lightness or your tires begin to lose their grip and the rear of the car starts fishtailing, the very first thing you must do is lift your foot completely off the accelerator and keep it there. Do not touch the gas pedal again until the crisis has passed. Let the engine's natural drag begin to slow you down on its own. Slamming on the brakes at this moment is the single most dangerous mistake you can make because it locks the tires solid, transforming your 2-ton vehicle into an uncontrollable 4,000-pound hockey puck sliding across a surface with almost no friction at all. Your hands stay on the wheel, but your right foot stays planted firmly away from both pedals, giving the tires the one thing they desperately need right now, a chance to keep rolling just enough to maintain any remaining contact with the road. Next, steer directly into the direction of the slide in small, smooth movements rather than jerking the wheel hard. If the back end of your car is swinging out to the right, turn the steering wheel gently to the right as well, always aiming the front tires where you want the nose of the vehicle to point. Overcorrecting creates a pendulum effect that can whip the car around even harder in the opposite direction, turning a manageable slide into a full spin. Your motions must feel deliberate and calm, like a dancer adjusting balance mid-step, because panic makes hands twitch too violently, and that violence steals away the last bits of control you have left. At the same time, force your eyes to look exactly where you want the car to go, not at the guardrail or median rushing toward you. This is a powerful psychological technique borrowed from fighter pilots and professional race car drivers. Your hands and the vehicle itself will subconsciously follow your gaze. Staring at the obstacle you fear almost guarantees you will hit it. So lock your vision down the open lane or the soft shoulder ahead. Feel the road through the seat of your pants and the subtle feedback in the wheel. But never let your eyes betray you by fixating on the danger. Your brain, wired for survival, will coordinate the tiny steering corrections needed to guide you back into alignment if you give it the right visual target. If you absolutely must slow down further and your vehicle is equipped with an anti-lock braking system, press the brake pedal with firm, steady pressure and hold it there even when the pedal begins to vibrate and grind beneath your foot. That pulsing sensation is the system working exactly as designed, rapidly releasing and reapplying brake pressure to each wheel individually so the tires never fully lock up and lose all rotation. Do not pump the pedal yourself or let go, trust the technology to do its job. If your car lacks an anti-lock braking system, then gently pump the brakes in short, controlled pulses to keep some wheel rotation while still bleeding off speed. And if the slide worsens despite these efforts, especially in a rear-wheel drive or front-wheel drive vehicle where engine forces are still pushing or pulling against the limited grip, shift smoothly into neutral. This uncouples the drivetrain from the wheels entirely. removing any competing forward or backward forces so every ounce of available traction can focus on straightening the car and restoring lateral stability. Neutral gives the tires their best shot at biting back into the road without the engine fighting them. Once you have steadied the vehicle and the immediate rotation stops, the danger is far from over because black ice rarely claims just one car on a busy interstate. Multi-vehicle pileups are the true killers here, where one sliding car triggers a domino effect that can involve dozens or even more vehicles in a matter of seconds. If you regain enough control but spot chaos building ahead, do not try to stop dead in the travel lanes, even if you manage to halt. The heavy truck or speeding car behind you almost certainly will not. Instead, steer deliberately toward the softest available escape, a snowbank, a grassy ditch, or even a wide median if it is clear. Snow and earth absorb the energy of impact far better than steel or concrete, cushioning the blow and giving everyone a better chance of walking away. Choose the path that sacrifices the vehicle over endangering lives, because metal crumples but human bodies do not. Should your own car end up disabled in the middle of such a growing pileup, the decision of whether to stay or go becomes critical. If you can still hear or see vehicles sliding and crashing into the growing heap, remain buckled inside your vehicle with the seatbelt fastened tight. Modern cars are engineered as protective safety cages surrounded by airbags and crumple zones designed to absorb tremendous forces. Stepping outside onto an icy highway turns you into a vulnerable target, like a bowling pin in the path of oncoming steel. Keep your hazard lights flashing and stay low in your seat, calling emergency services immediately to report your exact location. Only if you have a clear, long view down the highway and a safe barrier or embankment you can reach quickly should you carefully exit and move well upstream and far off the roadway, staying visible but out of the potential path of any debris or sliding wreckage. In those rare moments when escape is possible, do so calmly and quickly, never lingering near the lanes. Understanding why this invisible killer behaves the way it does equips you with the knowledge to anticipate and defeat it before it ever strikes. Black ice is not truly black, it is a perfectly clear, paper-thin layer of ice that forms under very specific conditions and allows the dark asphalt below to show straight through, making the road appear deceptively wet and harmless. It happens most often when the air temperature sits just above freezing while the road surface itself has cooled below 32 degrees Fahrenheit, or when a light drizzle or mist falls onto pavement already chilled to the freezing point. The result is a surface with a coefficient of friction that can drop as low as 1/10 or even lower. Far slipperier than ordinary snow or visible ice because a thin film of water sometimes lubricates the contact point between tire and road, turning the whole thing into the most dangerous state possible for rubber trying to grip pavement. Bridges and overpasses amplify this danger dramatically, which is why you see those bright yellow warning signs that read "Bridge freezes" before road. The physics here is straightforward yet unforgiving. A normal stretch of highway is insulated from below by the massive heat reservoir of the earth beneath the asphalt, which releases stored warmth slowly and keeps the surface temperature a few degrees higher than the air around it. A bridge or overpass, however, is exposed to cold air flowing freely above, below, and on all sides, with no soil to act as a thermal blanket. Steel and concrete lose heat rapidly, so a bridge deck can drop well below freezing even when the surrounding road remains just warm enough to stay wet and safe. You might be driving confidently on 35-degree pavement only to hit a 28-degree bridge deck and feel every bit of traction vanish in an instant. Researchers who have studied these temperature differences and road surface energy balances have given drivers everywhere a clearer map of where to slow down and stay alert. And we owe them a deep debt of gratitude for turning abstract physics into practical life-saving warnings through years of patient observation and modeling. The same principle explains why all-wheel drive vehicles, as beloved as they are across the United States in places like the Northeast and Midwest, offer far less protection than many owners believe. All-wheel drive systems excel at getting a vehicle moving by distributing power to all four tires, helping you pull away from a stop or climb a snowy incline with confidence. But when it comes to stopping or turning on ice, They provide no meaningful advantage whatsoever because braking and cornering depend entirely on the friction between your tires and the road, not on which wheels are powered. Every modern car already has four-wheel braking, so the extra drive capability cannot shorten your stopping distance or improve your ability to steer out of a slide. The real risk lies in the false sense of security all-wheel drive can create. Drivers often push faster than conditions allow, only to discover too late that acceleration is irrelevant once momentum carries them into a skid. The tires remain the true heroes or villains here, and that realization has saved countless lives by encouraging smarter choices long before the ice appears. Preparing your vehicle and yourself turns survival from luck into a repeatable skill. Most standard all-season tires, the ones many Americans rely on year-round, begin to lose their grip dramatically once temperatures fall below 45 degrees Fahrenheit. The rubber compounds in those tires undergo what engineers call a glass transition, hardening like plastic and refusing to conform to the tiny irregularities in ice or snow. Dedicated winter tires, by contrast, use special high silica blends that stay soft and pliable even in sub-zero conditions, combined with thousands of tiny slits in the tread called sipes that act like miniature fingers biting into the surface for extra bite. Studies on tire performance in extreme cold have shown these compounds can reduce braking distances by 30 to 50% or more on ice compared to all-season rubber, making the investment in a set of winter tires one of the smartest insurance policies you can buy. Often cheaper than a single insurance deductible in the so-called salt belt states where road crews spread de-icing chemicals aggressively. Modern vehicles also come equipped with electronic stability control, an invisible guardian that constantly monitors your steering input against the actual rotation of the car using sensors for yaw rate, wheel speed, and steering angle. If the system detects the vehicle beginning to spin or slide off your intended path, it selectively applies brakes to individual wheels while sometimes reducing engine power, gently pivoting the car back into alignment without any input from you. When that electronic stability control warning light begins flashing on your dashboard, it means you have reached the absolute limit of physics and tire grip. The best response is to keep your eyes on the escape route. Maintain smooth steering, and let the system do its precise work rather than adding more chaotic pedal or wheel inputs. This technology, refined through decades of engineering and real-world crash data analysis, has dramatically lowered the severity of winter incidents wherever it is standard equipment. No matter how well prepared your car is, the human element matters most, which is why a thoughtful winter emergency kit belongs in every trunk from Maine to Minnesota. If a pileup strands you for 6 to 10 hours or more while responders clear the wreckage and treat the road, you need supplies that keep you warm, visible, and mobile. A space blanket reflects body heat back toward you. A collapsible shovel lets you dig out tires. And a bag of sand or non-clumping kitty litter provides instant traction under spinning wheels. Keep a fully charged power bank for your phone, extra warm layers, non-perishable snacks, water, and a high-visibility light-emitting diode flare or reflective triangles that can be seen from a mile away without the fire risk of traditional flares that might melt ice and create new hazards. These simple items, recommended consistently by national safety organizations, have turned potential tragedies into manageable inconveniences for families across the country. Spotting black ice before it claims you is an art built on keen observation. Watch for the sudden silence from the road ahead. If the spray kicked up by the tires of the car in front of you stops abruptly and the surface still looks wet but produces no familiar shushing sound under your own tires, you are likely rolling onto ice rather than water. Glance at your side mirrors or the radio antennas of nearby vehicles, if frost or ice is forming there. It is almost certainly forming on the pavement too. And trust that instinctive feel in your hands when the steering suddenly goes light and effortless. That is your cue that you have already lost up to 70% of your traction. So lift off the gas immediately and begin the survival protocol before the slide even starts. The deeper truth is that black ice is not some random act of nature but a solvable physics problem we can outsmart together. By increasing your following distance dramatically in winter conditions, sometimes 10 times what you would use in clear weather, You give yourself and everyone around you precious extra seconds to react. Check road surface temperature forecasts on reliable government websites rather than relying solely on air temperature readings. Because the pavement tells the real story. Slow down well in advance of bridges, shaded curves, and areas where water might have pooled overnight. Share what you learn with friends and family, because every driver who understands these principles becomes part of a safer community, reducing the likelihood that any of us ends up in one of those heartbreaking multi-vehicle incidents that make national news far too often. In the end, the best way to survive any highway emergency is to never enter the pack that forms around it in the first place. Drive with respect for the invisible forces at work. Stay curious about the science that governs every mile. And approach each winter journey with the quiet confidence that comes from preparation rather than bravado. You will arrive late some days, but you will arrive safely, ready to embrace whatever adventure waits beyond the horizon. That knowledge, passed from one careful driver to the next, is how we protect the people and the roads we all share. To the dedicated scientists, meteorologists, tire engineers, and road safety researchers whose persistent studies on friction coefficients, hoar frost formation under clear skies and radiative cooling, precipitation-induced freezing mechanisms, glass transition temperatures in rubber compounds, and advanced predictive models like those used by national weather services have illuminated these hidden dangers and equipped us with better tools and strategies. We extend our sincere and heartfelt thanks. Your quiet, tireless dedication to uncovering the truths of winter physics and translating them into practical guidance has saved countless lives and continues to foster safer journeys for every traveler across the nation.